Good afternoon. Well, this is the DunkersPodcast, and this is at number 1. We're out on our first road show. Well, not exactly a road show, but we're out and we're away from the studio, away from the kitchen table, as most of you know, and I'm actually at a Coastwatch station in Nefyn. I've probably got that slightly wrong. The address might be a bit different. However, the boss of this Coastwatch station, Andy Smith, is going to be with us today. And as we've left our kitchen table, Criccieth, which is very near, is the home to Andy, and he proves that life is better when you say yes. Simple as that. From collecting cars to helping launch Vodafone into the mobile stratosphere, Andy's always been a man ahead of the curve. Unless that curve involves restoring another classic sports car. Garage space is a bit tight, I believe. We'll ask him about that. These days, he's swapped boardrooms for binoculars, running the Coastwatch station and keeping an eye on the vast, unpredictable Irish Sea and probably a few dunkers bobbing around. Off duty, Andy's a family man, 4 kids, was 3 wives. Current wife, Kay, is an artistic cake genius and an absolute legend, and we all love her to death. And a total softie when it comes to dogs. Wag a tail and Andy'll melt. Join us as we chat to Andy on site at this Coastwatch post with real sea spray, a bit of wind, pardon me, and probably more background noise than usual. Because life at the edge of the land, it's where the stories really start. Andy, welcome to DunkersPodcast.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for that wonderful introduction. Makes me sound very important.
So can you give me the address? Where exactly are we? We are near Nefyn, aren't we?
Yeah, this is Porthdinllaen Head. So anybody that's listening that knows where the RNLI station is, or the Teacock, the pub, if they walk past the Teacock, which is hard, and then past the RNLI station, where the little white cubed building right on the end of the point was a Coast Guard station many, many years ago. And it has, roughly a kind of 250 degree view from here of the sea. So we've got a great view of people or vessels that are coming in and out, whether it's to visit the pub or whether it's fishermen or people out on yachts.
And we'll get into that a little bit in a few minutes. First of all, though, I mean, Andy, because this is the DunkersPodcast, Andy, you're a dunker, but in a more remote and certainly on a stony beach place than we are, because Criccieth has got a lovely coastline, but there's lots of stones.
Yes, you've got to pick your time to go in. It's actually best to go in when the tide is in, but then you've got the stony walk out to get into deeper water. If you go in when the tide's out, you get sand, but you've got a long way to get out.
I'm curious, do you, when you do go dunking, do you find that it sort of changes your mindset? Do you have a new affinity with the water? Because you're spending hours up here.
The honest answer is I don't do enough of it. Neither of us do, but we both love it. We've just come back from Port Isaac on holiday, and we did some dunking down there in the bay in Port Isaac, which was lovely.
Port Isaac, Devon, Cornwall?
Yeah, Devon. Well, home of Doc Martin.
Ah, right.
Yeah,
okay.
Stunning place.
Yeah, and isn't it also the home of a little group of singers?
It is.
Barely
Fisherman's
known
Friends.
singers.
Yeah, Fisherman's Friends. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you manage to swing a chord or two with them?
No, it's a slightly interesting story. But we did meet John Cleave, who's he's often known as the kind of lead of Fisherman's Friends. He's got the kind of handlebar moustache and the bald head. We've met him twice now when we've been down there, and once got invited to genuinely a private party that he had in the pub on the front where Fisherman's Friends was filmed.
Wow.
It was his birthday, and I bumped into him walking Zeppy and German Shepherd, and he gave the Shepherd a fuss, and we got chatting, and he invited us to the pub. We got a private concert, because he said a couple of his mates were going to join him, but it turned out all the band, bar about 2, were there, and there was only maybe 20 people in the bar. It was amazing. Absolutely
Fantastic.
fantastic. Yeah.
So it was a concert for you.
It was fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Yeah.
So from dunking into singing.
Yeah.
What's the common denominator? Pub?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so. Cider.
Cider. Yeah, I suppose you've got to drink cider down there.
Oh, you have down there, yeah.
Do they allow Guinness?
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Oh, do you?
But down there, there's quite a famous cider called Rattler, which, given my automotive background, is actually brewed by the Austin Healey family. And it's very, very nice cider on draft. So we normally partake in a couple.
Gosh, there's lots of connections coming out here, aren't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you do go dunking, do you go on your own or with Kay or with a group?
No, we just go with Kay. We don't do it in a group. Sometimes with the kids, but no, it's always with Kay. I don't do. There is a very prolific meet in Criccieth. The Woolly Hatters meet every week.
Oh, of course.
We've not gone down there and taken part in that.
Right.
But some of our friends do. Jilly,
yes,
she dunks with them.
Yeah, and they're sort of more or less females, aren't they? The Woolly Hatters,
as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. So you'll have to come to Abersock. You'll feel there's a bit more testosterone running around. Yeah. Mind you, it's a bit aged testosterone. I must be honest. If I have anything to go by,
is there much testosterone when you're getting out and it's very cold?
No, probably not. No, we all, everything's hidden discreetly.
Yes.
Yeah, as you would imagine. So the great thing about this particular site is that, as you say, there's 240 to probably almost 250, even 70 degree visibility.
Yeah.
Just describe to our listener exactly what we're looking at, if you will.
Well, I think it is one of the most stunning parts of Wales, probably one of the most stunning parts of the UK. So being right on the point here, we can see the mountains of the Rivals. We can see Llangrythin down to the right here. We can see Anglesey and Holyhead. And on a clear evening, because we're fairly high up, you can see the mountains in Wicklow from here.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is 70 miles away.
Goodness. So do you often see many boats that are making voyage over there, making passage over to?
No, most of the vessels we see are either coming down from Carnarvon, the larger vessels either coming down from Carnarvon or around from Porthdinllaen or Abersoch. The real large bulk carriers only come within about 20 miles of us, and we can see them on the tracking system that we have here. And if they're very large ones, you can see them just on the horizon. But the main people we get around here are in winter, it's the fishermen, commercial fishermen, and in summer it's obviously fishermen plus all the tourists and leisure boats.
Okay, right. Before we actually sort of get into the constitution of the community that you look after, I'm going to try. So just jump in. I'm going to try and describe this particular building. So it literally is a small square building. It's probably about 8 feet by 10 feet.
Yeah.
We're on a second level, so and we're high up on the edge of the cliff. So we obviously, clearly, figuratively and literally look down on everybody. In the room that we're here, we've got loads and loads of Wi-Fi and presumably short range radio.
Yeah.
We've got a big chart, a big table with a chart on. And is that the whole of your visibility?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, more than. So the chart that you're looking at, you'll see that there are lines around it radiating from this particular watchtower, and they designate how many nautical miles a particular vessel may be. That we have to estimate roughly where a vessel is if we see one out there in trouble. But there are rings on the map that show us roughly where they may be. And the top one, there's one called Horizon at 10.8 nautical miles, and that is obviously, what it sounds, it is where we can see, if we saw a small vessel in the water at 10.8 miles, we'd see them. Beyond that, at 11 miles, we probably wouldn't see them because it's the curved Earth effect.
Of course. Right.
So
okay.
that's as much of the horizon as we can see is about 10.8 miles from here.
Right, which is a long way for a small vessel, especially to be out there.
Yeah. But if it's a larger yacht, we will see them at 15 miles, maybe, if it's a big enough yacht.
Yeah, because he's got the height of his mast.
Yeah.
So, okay. So just to continue our background, so we've got windows all the way around, literally all the way around, bar one wall.
Yeah.
And that wall is effectively looking
land facing,
and over the golf course.
Yeah.
So, if you're a golfer, if you've ever played Nefyn, you'd see the watchtower, wouldn't you?
Yes, they will tee off right at the side of it.
Oh, no, but there you
go.
They
do see it.
they do, yeah.
And I see them as well.
Yeah. Do you often sort of, because I know you're a golfer, think, lousy shot, mate. I could have done better.
Yeah. I often say to them, on this hole, it's nearest the green, not nearest the pin. Just try and hit the green. It's a magnificent hole, but it's difficult to play.
Yeah, it seems as though it rolls away pretty quick.
And it's always windy here, so it's difficult to control if it's high winds.
Right. So do you? Okay. This is where it all happens. This is what it looks like. As I say, you've got masses and masses of kit in here, which is really impressive. And for the uninitiated like me, I'm glad to say I can see there is an alphabet on the wall, which has got the proper designation. So is this the phonetic? Yeah, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, etc. So there's no excuse to get it wrong, I guess. Okay. So we've got, we're out on a peninsula. We're miles away, or it feels miles away from anywhere, although we're actually not. We're great visibility down onto the sea. And what happens on a shift at Coastwatch?
Okay.
What take me from the time that you unlock the door?
So we are eyes along the coast. That's the best 3 words I can describe what we do. We are in effect what the Coast Guard used to do. There used to be 300 Coast Guard stations around the country. The last ones closed in 1994, of which this was one of them.
Why is that? Sorry to interrupt. What?
Because the government at the time decided that with the technology there was, that they could get away with just running the Coast Guard from 10 stations around the country. A lot of the stations were then just closed, and there was one particular station on the south coast, Bass Point, where there was a tragedy with a fishing vessel, and it was soon after the Coast Guard closed that particular station. So all
eyes were pointed to the government.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the Coast Guard volunteers then decided to form their own Coastwatch station there, and that was the very first one that was formed. And now there are 61 around the country.
Wow! All volunteers.
All volunteers. There isn't a single paid member in the Coastwatch. We all have to raise our own funds. Each station raises their own funds, and we don't get any support from anywhere else other than the generosity of the public.
So the time and the effort and the energy that people put in, it's all about believing they want to keep people safe.
It is. Yeah. The common denominator is people who want to do something good and want to put something back into the community, and that's admirable. We're always looking for volunteers, so if anybody is listening to this and feels that they might be interested in doing it, then we would welcome you to come down to the watchtower, bang on the door. Doesn't matter who's on watch, they will take you upstairs, show you around, and tell you what we do.
And if we go even deeper into that you could actually, it's the same approach whichever watchtower you happen to go to,
wherever you
of
go.
all of the 61.
Wherever you go.
Okay.
So in answer to your earlier question, then we go on watch. We have a 5-hour shift, and in that 5 hours, we can't sit here reading or watching tennis. We are constantly watching what is going out in the sea there. Now, in winter months, that can be very quiet. In summer months, it can be incredibly busy because we spot, we plot what we see. If there's a problem that we see where somebody's getting in trouble, we report it and respond and get onto the Coast Guard, and they decide whether they've launched the RNLI or the police or whichever search and rescue service might need to happen. So we're constantly looking for people that we think might be vulnerable. So we have a process by which we kind of categorize.
Okay.
So if you've got a vessel out there that's, sailing nicely, they've all got life jackets on, and they're just enjoying themselves, then we still note where they are. So we note first position and then we keep an eye on them. But if we see another vessel out there, perhaps a speedboat with lots of kids in and no life jackets and overcrowded, then that becomes a priority for us to watch. As with paddleboarders, if we feel they're getting in trouble, or kayakers, because one of the big things that, if I could talk to everybody that came down onto the front here to do some water sports, I'd say, make sure you know what the wind's doing, make sure you know what the tide's doing, make sure you've got a phone with you. And it's remarkable the number of times that doesn't happen, sadly.
Yeah. But looking out of the windows now, I would think if you were in a kayak, stroke canoe, and or a paddleboard, it's pretty bleak, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is.
Yeah. So if you're around here in one of those craft, then you're taking a bit of a chance anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, very exposed.
We had an incident recently, about 5-6 weeks ago, of a kayaker that came out of Porthdinllaen, and the watchkeeper was keeping a very close eye on him. There wasn't much activity at the time, but it was quite strong winds, and the tide was going out and the wind was offshore. And as he watched the kayaker, he could see that he was paddling to try and get in, and he was very slowly continuing to come out.
Okay.
So immediately he would get concerned about that. He documents exactly where he is, rings the Coast Guard and said, we think this man's in trouble. The Coast Guard then decide, they make the decision, we don't make the decision. They make the decision to launch if they do, and they did launch from here. The Coast Guard then, they do not let go of that issue until it's fully resolved, whatever it is. So,
and that presumably is the man back on land,
back and safe on land. So,
Right.
And that's whether it's a child, whether it's a dog, whether it's a kayaker, it doesn't matter what it is. The Coast Guard are exceptional at managing an incident from start to finish.
Okay.
Absolutely incredible.
Okay. So the Coast Guard will be the people that would call in the helicopter or the lifeboat RNLI,
Everything.
or as you say, the ambulance services, the emergency services.
The Coast Guard are the glue to all the marine search and rescue.
You must make their job a lot easier, because if the 61 of you around the country weren't there, they would be well stretched, wouldn't they?
Yes. I mean, bearing in mind we're all volunteers, and we're only open 5 hours a day. Some of the stations on the south coast have as many as 90 volunteers, so they will open from 9 in the morning till 6 at night. And over the course of a year, there are thousands of incidents where the NCI has instigated that emergency rescue.
I know it's an obvious thing to ask, but I'll ask it anyway. So you really can only offer an effective service in the hours of the daylight?
Yes, absolutely.
So what happens at night?
Nothing we can do. It relies purely on either somebody not getting back at the time they should do, so whoever was expecting them will ring the Coast Guard or the police.
Yeah.
Or if it's a yacht, they will ring the Coast Guard themselves.
Yes.
Yachts generally have got all the right equipment.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, okay. And is that the same throughout all the stations everywhere?
Yeah.
You only operate through hours and
Yes.
daylight. Yeah.
There is a few projects around at the moment. One that I'm involved with, which is putting a remote camera on Blackrock Sands, because around here there are two main areas where people get into trouble regularly. One is round in the Sound at Bardsey,
Okay.
but they don't. There aren't many of those, but when they happen, they're more serious.
Yeah. Is that because of the tides?
Yeah,
Just for our listener who doesn't understand the sound.
The water there, if it's, well, even on a calm day, the water seems like it's almost boiling when you go in the Sound, because, of course, the water's pushing around the island and meeting around the back of the island.
Oh, that's what causes it.
Yeah.
And Bardsey itself, which is a small island about, half a mile off the mainland, that is actually creating a funnel effect, presumably.
Yes, it is. Exactly.
Right, so
it's similar to Menai Straits.
Okay.
It's a similar concept to Menai.
Right.
The water rushes around Anglesey and comes into the middle, and you get that boiling effect, and particularly at high and low tides.
Right. And but I have heard that Bardsey, if you're on a boat, you can actually almost stand still.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, because the sound runs that quickly.
Yeah. I mean, we went round it. We had a boat years ago. We went out on a flat, calm bay round Bardsey, and it's still quite a challenge going around there.
Is it really?
But yeah, it's a little bit nerve-wracking. Yeah.
So there's obviously one or two real sort of lessons for people to learn, and that is, first of all, I guess you've got to have a craft that you can keep in contact with somebody else with, i.e. your mobile phone.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're not trying, especially on a small craft, that the wind isn't pushing you out into the ocean.
Yeah.
And the fact that you understand what's happening with the water.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, anything else that you would suggest?
Weather,
of course,
wind,
of course.
Tide. I mean, weather's obviously part of which way the wind's going, but weather generally, if you know there's a squall coming, don't go out.
No.
And we have had incidents that we've had here where that has been the case. So just to give you a picture of some of them. So we had a rescue about 18 months ago, which was two people on a jet ski. Similar situation. The tide was going out, the wind was against. Now, obviously, jet skis are quite powerful, but they're not very powerful when you fall off them. And these two individuals fell off in rough seas.
Oof.
The jet ski carried on, and they were both in trouble. And again, fortunately, we were on watch. It was during our hours. And one of this was about October, November time, so it's cold.
Gosh, the water's down.
One of them managed to climb onto some rocks near where the station is here, and the other person was left in the sea. So we rang the Coast Guard. They launched the lifeboat from here. They rescued both of them, but it turned out once they got them in and rescued that one of them was an epileptic.
Okay,
could have been quite serious, because they will have started to panic by the time they were rescued.
And body temperature going down, as we Dunkers know. In November, you're lucky if you've got 12 degrees, 10 or 12 degrees in the water. Yeah. And do you get many? I don't want to sort of over dramatize it, but do you get many incidents, or is it more watching and just be? Okay, I'm out in a boat. I realise I'm in trouble. I have got a phone with me. Would I ring the RNLI? Would I ring 999? Would I ring you? And if
999.
999.
Always 999.
Okay.
Because although we have direct dialogue with the Coast Guard on a regular basis through the day, if there's an incident, we ring 999 because it goes through as a priority call.
Right.
If it's just the phone ringing that we normally ring, they won't necessarily pick it up if they've got an incident going on somewhere. So 999 always.
And as far as your communications go, as I mentioned very briefly, you seem to have a lot of kit here. So you can talk to a boat and talk to the emergency services at the same time, and just you're like the go-between at that point.
Yeah. So just to kind of give you a quick tour of what we've got in here, we have two marine radios. One is dedicated to our own channel, because the NCI has its own channel, 65, which anybody can call up for radio checks, weather checks, or whatever they want to. But that channel, that particular radio set, also listens to channel 16, which is the emergency channel. So anybody who's in trouble, always communicate on channel 16. All the other channels are just for use when the Coast Guard might have an interaction with somebody, and it might be somebody just wanting a little bit of information, and they'll tell them move to channel 18 or move to channel 21 or whatever.
Oh, they'll give them instruction,
they'll give
will
instructions,
they?
yeah,
to keep channel 16 presumably clear for if somebody else.
Yeah, because you do occasionally get people who are not familiar with having a VHF radio, having a chat about where the best mackerel fishing is, or where they should moor up.
Isn't that why you use the radio, Andy?
That's a bit irritating.
Yeah.
The other radio is a standard marine radio that scans all channels. The only thing that makes that different from a standard marine radio is it also listens to channel 00, which is the search and rescue channel.
Okay.
So,
are you able to transmit on 00?
We are, but we don't.
No, but we as general public wouldn't. No,
absolutely not.
We have to use 16.
No, absolutely not. 16.
Okay.
16.
Okay. It's. I mean, hopefully this podcast will give a few messages and reminders to people.
Yeah.
I'm sure the majority of our listeners will be well schooled and well au fait with this. But it's a nudge sometimes is a nice idea.
It's just with the advent of affordable blow-up paddleboards as well that can be bought from sports goods, but also supermarkets. They are quite a problem. So we'll get several incidents a year where somebody will be getting blown out to sea on them. Usually kids, but blown out to sea without any life jacket on, probably sometimes without a wetsuit, but certainly generally without a radio. And then it becomes a parent panicking, seeing them, or somebody that we will see getting into trouble. So it's just having a bit of common sense before you get out on the water, having a little checklist that says, I've thought this through, I know what the weather's doing, and I'm going to play safe.
And on this part of the world, because you've got eyes on 10 miles and more through 240, 270 degrees, you're a great support for them, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes. That's the point.
Yeah.
If they are anywhere in this bay or all the way around to the other side of Pastille or the rivals, you've just got your eyes on this all the time.
Yeah. We've got other equipment. We've got several optics in here. The large binoculars there will see out past Pistol, and very clearly we could pick up an upturned yacht outside of Pistol with those.
Right.
And then we have something called a Polaris, but basically, if you think of it, it's a large compass about the size of a dinner plate. And on there is mounted a telescope, and it's got a little pointer on it. So if we see something out in trouble, somebody out on the water, we can tell within exactly how many degrees away from the station that they are. And that's really important for us, because at that point, if we know they're in trouble, we can ring the Coast Guard and say, they are 270 degrees from the station. They're roughly 5 miles out. Now, it doesn't matter if we get the 5 miles out wrong. What matters is that we've said it's 270 degrees from the station.
Yeah, they're on the right direction.
The only way I can know that is from that.
Okay.
And then the last bit of equipment that we do have is we have a big Ray Marine chart plotter. And basically what that is, for the listeners, it is a screen that displays all the sea area that we've got in here. And then if there's a larger vessel on there that has an AIS on it, which is automatic information system, we can tell exactly where they are to within a few meters, and exactly what their course is. And in some cases, it'll tell us where they're heading. So
It's very impressive.
It's a very important bit of
yeah,
kit.
yeah. And those Ray Marine type kits, I think I've seen on actual boats as well, don't they?
That is a boat piece of kit.
Is it really? Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, it's one way and another. You've got it. Do you think? I'm just wondering whether the listener is going to notice, and whether you're going to notice, if I half-inch these binoculars, because Andy lent me a pair of binoculars when I first came in, and they were just magnificent.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're
we need good binoculars.
Yeah, you do. So I'm going to just sidetrack a little bit. Thank you. We've got a real handle on what you do. As far as you as a dunker goes, are you happy to sort of make this part of your life? So you're dunking, you've got your cars, you've got you've got lots and lots of different distractions.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel that your time is sort of so precious that you can think, oh, well, I won't go up to Coastwatch because somebody else will do it because it's all volunteers, and I'll sort of play with my car or play a game of golf?
No, I can't do that. I would be mortified if there was some incident that to happen and I wasn't on hand to resolve that. So you can't do that. You have to, when you commit to do it, apart from illness or people who have some kind of issue that's come up that they didn't know that would happen. We are expected to come on watch if we say we're going to come on watch.
Brilliant.
So
yeah, that's you've got to stick by the commitment you make.
Yeah, it's for a watchkeeper, it's not a huge commitment. You're talking about anywhere between 2 and 4 watches a month. We have one person who's not travels quite a way to get here, but he has a home down here, a holiday home down here. And he only does 1 watch a month at the moment. He'd like to do more, and that's acceptable. That's perfectly acceptable. All we ask is that people will do an amount of watch keeping that works for them. It's a two-way thing.
Yeah,
So
clearly.
A decent watchkeeper, 3-4 watches a month, be absolutely fine. And with that, with the team I've got, I can generally fill every day. We're not always able to do that because we're only a team of 21 watchkeepers, and of that, some people prefer to do it with somebody else.
Okay.
And there are some married couples who prefer to do it together. So you're only talking about being able to cover about 14 watches.
Oh, right.
With the watchkeepers we've got. So
yeah.
It can be quite challenging. We need more watchkeepers. We need some dare I say, when I say younger watchkeepers, we're all of an age. So if we've got people who are taking early retirement, want to do something, don't want to give up working yet, this is an ideal. It's just fabulous. The views are spectacular. It's peaceful. Can get a bit hairy in summer, but that's what
that goes to the territory.
What we're here for. Absolutely.
And I think that when sitting here, it's so professional, so reassuring that you've just got all the kit here, and you must have a lot of training that goes into it, and I suppose refresher courses like anything like this, you just take refreshers all the time.
Yeah, the training isn't that difficult, Mark. You're talking about probably 10 to 12 watches will take you from applying to become a watchkeeper to being signed off.
Okay.
It's not that hard. It's just a case of getting used to what the processes are and the routines are.
Yeah.
Because 90% of this job is common sense.
Right.
It's looking and seeing and making a judgment if you think somebody's getting into trouble. So it's not difficult for people to get into it. And if they've got a passion to do something else, we have a team of officers who do stuff. We have a training officer, we have a treasurer, we have a secretary, we have somebody who does a roster, somebody who does PR, somebody who does social media. So there's always stuff to be done. and I'm always looking for help.
Yeah. There's lots of disciplines that underpin the smooth operation of it.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it would be, who knows, some of the dunkers, because the dunkers are generally, we've got age against us, but we've got time on our hands.
Yeah.
So maybe some of the dunkers who have just confined 2, 3, 4 hours a week, a month rather, is that'll make a big impression to you.
It would.
Yeah,
it would.
Okay.
We're close in some months. We're close to getting to the stage where I could do a dual shift, where I could maybe open from 9 in the morning till 6 at night. And during the summer months, particularly bank holidays and things like that, I'd like to do that.
Yeah,
we're still only doing 5-hour shifts, but we overlap for half an hour, and then we're covering from 9 till 6.
Yeah,
that would be my ideal. Really.
Well, let's keep that in mind, because I think the thing is that we just sort of touch back onto dunking. And on our Dunkers podcast, I've got a couple of traditions. One is that I'm going to ask you a question that somebody else has left for you, and I'm not going to tell you who.
Okay.
And I'll get to that. But I think my own question, the question that I always ask anybody, because this is it's just grown out of the podcast, is if there was anybody you could go and dunk with and dunk anywhere at all, who would it be and where would it be?
It might sound a bit trite to say this, but my mother used to dunk at the end of Llanbedrog Beach towards Pwllheli. She used to drive down and park up down there, and she was dunked for years in summer. I never went with her.
Didn't you?
No. So
that's nice.
Yeah, probably my mum.
That's great. And the question I'm going to ask you is, is there something over the next 6 or 12 months that you've promised yourself that you'll do? And what do you think it is?
I would like to try and just pull back a bit from the work I'm doing at the moment. So having retired about 4 years ago and been kind of here for about 3.5 years now, I'd just like to get a bit more of time for me and for us in. So that means getting a bit more help. We're at the moment looking at succession plans and things for the station, for all the officers that are involved. So getting a bit more structure around who does what around the station.
That's great, and let's hope that if there is a dunker out there that's got a mind, then let's encourage them to get in contact with you. Yeah. Well, thank you very much indeed, Andy. Honestly, real pleasure. It's a whole new space that I knew a bit about, but didn't understand it anywhere near as professionally as it is.
Yeah.
And there's 61 of these stations doing vital work around the country.
Yeah.
And more power to you.
I look forward to your application, Mark.
Well, thank you again. And I'll sign off by saying, may the Dunkers spirit go with you.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks.